Hello, and welcome back to the June gas leak. This is bonus puzzle number 2. It's called Chaos Construction Exums by Clover. I haven't done many chaos constructions. One of them was a gas chaos construction, and I've done a couple others as well, but yeah, I've not tried a chaos construction without pencil marking. So we'll see how this one goes. Um, Obviously, we are using chaos construction rules. If you don't know what that is, then you're in for a real treat. We need to divide the grid into 6 non-overlapping, orthogonally connected 6-cell regions. We will then fill the grid with the digits 1 to 6 so that each digit appears exactly once in each row, column, and region. X sums. Clues outside the grid tell you the sum of the first X digits in that row or column, counting from the direction where the clue appears, where X is the first digit closest to the clue in that row or column. Also, if an X sums clue starts with X, then the first X digits in that row or column are in the same region, and the X plus 1th is in a different region. What in the world does that all mean? Well, it means we're going to get out the pen tool. If you don't know where the pen tool is, you will go to Settings, you will go to Tools, and you will hit the little button that says Enable Pen Tool. You'll enable it on, and you'll see something pop up. What does that do for us? Well, when we do that, I'm going to go make sure it's center and edge. I guess I'll just set it to edge only in this case. What we're able to do is we are able to draw lines to create these regions. So, for example, a valid way to I guess build six cell regions would be something like will be normal. Look at that. We got a normal 6-cell region right there. It's very, very normal. Um, and then I don't know. Let's do something like that and like that. All right. What we've done here using our color coding is created 6 specifically non-overlapping, orthogonally connected regions in the grid. All right? There's no like rhyme or reason to how this has been created, but we have created these regions. Um, at the end, we will have our own regions that we have determined as the solvers, and within those regions, they will contain the digits 1 to 6 once each, and so will the rows and columns, just like a normal, I guess a normal irregular 6 by 6 Sudoku, except in this case, we are creating what I can only assume are going to be irregular regions. And this will actually help us illustrate our next point. So X sums, clues outside the grid, will tell us the sum of the first X digits. So, for example here, if we said 3, that would say that the first 3 digits sum to 6. And we can do that in a couple ways. The obvious one would be just 1, 2 or 2, 1, right? That's, I guess, the 2 ways that you could do that. However, the key point on this one is that this xsum clue also tells you how many cells are in the same region up to a certain point. So actually 3 would be impossible. Just clearly this configuration would be impossible for the xsum because it has a 3 and the first 3 cells are not contained within the same region. Excuse me, 9, assuming we could place 7 to 7 would work perfectly because the first 2 digits are in the same region, and then the x plus 1th, the third cell, is in a different region. I don't think that necessarily, like, you see how we have this shape here? Like, if we somehow had this sort of thing happening, I don't know if you're then saying you can no longer have any more. I think as long as the next cell is a different region, you could have the same region again. So actually a nice way to illustrate that could be something like, um, yeah, sorry. It's a chaos construction, so it's going to be a little chaotic. Um, let's do something like this, for example. So this will color code it because it's a little hard to see. This would be 2, 4, for example, and that would be the valid way to do that because you could also clue it given the fact that the first two cells are in the same region and the third cell is not. But you can also see that we're able to place another digit here, let's say 3, and just for consistency, 6, 5. So we have this. This 6 clue is satisfied. We've moved to a different region, and then we move back to the same region. I think this is okay. I don't see why it couldn't based on the rules. We'll see if it even matters. It might not even come up. But yeah, that was, like I said, a bit chaotic. Hopefully it all made sense. If you were struggling to try to figure out the rules, I hope that whatever just came out of my mouth was helpful to you in some way, shape, or form. With that, those are the rules. Let's just jump right into it. All right, so one thing we've talked about before in previous XSUM puzzles, and the clues that jump out immediately to me are the ones. The reason is because there's only one way to ever place one next to an XSUM clue, and that would be if the clue itself is 1, because you're saying the first digit in that row, column, whatever, from the direction of the clue sums to 1. The only way for that to be true is if that is the case. What that means is we can actually draw a line here. We know immediately that these are going to be two different regions across the border, and we will do color coding just to make it a little bit easier to see. We know that this region needs to extend at least 6, right? So we know it grows to at least here. We don't know if it grows this way. It could grow this way. It could grow that way. Who knows? Um, there is definitely a certain maximum. So in any given direction, you can't have. Oh, and wow, that the seven's really interesting here. But anyways, we'll come to that in a moment. You can't have more than 3 cells belonging to a clue because the minimum of 4 digits, unique digits, is 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 10. Um, with that, though, something that I see here, which is interesting, is how do we make 7? 7 in XSUM land can actually only be made in one way. Um, you would think, oh, but you can make it with 3 digits, 1, 2, and 4. But the problem is none of those digits are 3. So the only option is, if we're not in color mode, but in number mode, is 2, 5. 2, 5. And the 2 also is shared by the 6. It has to be 2, 4. So what we can do here is color this some color. Pink could be yellow. That might sound weird, but trust me, it can make sense. Pink here could be yellow. This could be, whoops, this could be the same region, or it's possible that it could be part of a different region. Who knows? What we do know here, actually, though, is that this has to be 3, because 6 can only be made either in 2 digits or 3 digits. It has to be 3. It has to be 1, 2, specifically. This will be a color brown. So brown could be yellow. Oh, but actually, no. Yellow has to be pink. Yellow has to be pink, which means let's actually change brown to yellow. Um, the reason is because we know this has to grow to at least 6, and it can't be the same region as this, because then there wouldn't be a line here. It at least grows in this direction, right? And it has to grow downwards because it cannot grow this way. So it has to grow downwards. This will grow one more, and that means we've actually completed our first region. We can place 1, And this is a 3-6 pair. We'll come to that shortly. We do know this will be 3-2-4, don't we? Which means this is all red, because red has to grow. This has to be 6. Whoops. This has to be 6, and this region is still missing a 5. This is 5, and this is 6, which means this has to be a different region. Oh, and also, of course, this has to be a different region. We don't need to actually color code this. 5 probably is going to be red, but it's also possible 5 could go here, and we're not going to jump to any conclusions quite yet. Right? Blue could be yellow still. The world may never know. Um, Actually, we know it can't grow there, so this has to be 4. 4 is already contained in this region, so I completely missed that. So we know that this needs to continue growing. So this right here, we'll color this, I don't know. We'll color this one purple. We know this is what? 3-6, which means this has to be 5. It's looking more and more like red is going to have to take this cell. Um, what haven't we done yet? This. We haven't done this. This can't be 2-4. Oh, and it can't be 2-4, which means it has to be 3-1-2, which means in fact this is red. I hope everyone's following along on this. Um, I don't know if I'm necessarily explaining all my logic as well as I normally would, so I apologize for that. Across we're missing 1 and 2. 2 needs 6. This needs to be a different region, which means it's almost certainly going to be green. Um, we know it has to grow up like this, and that solidifies itself. Oh yeah, and look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the only way I see for this to work. The reason being that we knew that, first of all, we knew these cells because this needs to grow up. It can't be the same as this. This already has 5. That makes this 6. So we know that this is a region. We know these 4 cells need to grow here. And then we know it can't grow upwards because we already knew this was a different region. So it has to grow to the left. And now we have finished the chaos construction part. It is now just an irregular Sudoku because we've also done all of our x sums. So this is just a pure irregular Sudoku at this point in time. 3, 4, 4, 6. What are we missing? 4. There we go. 4, 3, 4, 3, 6. Across we're missing 5. Across we're missing 3. From the column we're missing 4. Oh, what are we missing? 5, 6. There we go. This is 5. This is 6. This is 6. This is 2. And we are done in 6 minutes and 53 seconds with Chaos Construction X-Sums by Clover. That went a little more smoothly than I guess I expected it would, especially seeing how much I struggled through the previous bonus puzzle. But yeah, I really like these genuinely approachable chaos constructions because again, I have done other chaos constructions, and the one I can specifically remember that I posted on the channel was one that had been suggested to me by Fonk Puzzles that he had seen Simon do. I actually had missed that video. And I think that took me over an hour, maybe like 70 minutes or something like that. The puzzle was a ton of fun, don't get me wrong, but this was a lot this was a lot shorter than 70 minutes, about 10 times shorter. So it's quite amazing the skill that Clover has to set such an approachable chaos construction. I hope you found it approachable. If you didn't, I hope that maybe watching me work through it gave you some ideas on how to think about these types of puzzles. Um, but yeah, you're doing kind of space filling curves. It's a little bit of everything, and I don't know. I just really I just really like that. That was very satisfying and again very impressive. Um, I guess what else do I expect from Clover? I'm very impressed. I don't have better words than that. So, with all that rambling, I hope you enjoyed. I will see you for bonus puzzle number 3, and thank you for watching.